Okay, here we are back in Celestian Tales, the Old North. So, I explored town, there's nothing for us to do at the moment. I also played ahead with the next scenario. Right now I'm going to go ahead and start the sleep thing because there's nothing for us to do as far as I know. But I had a game crashing bug, so I'll have to see if I can get around it this time. I will, at the very least, I'll try to put a save before where I ran into it so I don't have to. Well, I can just splice together video then instead of having to re-record. Young miss, the Master-at-Arms is waiting for you at the stables. Please meet him as soon as you're able to. Now, it may not look like much of a stable, but that's actually down here on the left side of the screen. We have to go down the stairs. You can see the crew right there. And we've arrived. You're late, Squire. Get out here and start working. Now listen up, Squires. Horses are not merely beasts of burden, they're crucial companions for a knight. A horse gives one great advantages in combat, such as mobility and strength for momentum. But that's not the greatest advantage for a knight, it is to be noticeable. Mounted on a horse, a knight is easier seen by her footmen, thus commands can be better heard. Baron Riviere, the legendary Moonblade, is known to be skilled in mounted combat. A knight's mount is his status symbol. Such were his words of wisdom. This is an outrage. Why must you wallow in this cesspit? We are learning to be knights, are we not? We should be on top of these horses, not behind them. Unfortunately, Princess, that only applies to knights, not squires. Then what's the point of doing this? 'Tis useless to learn what we will never need to do. To do this again or not isn't the point of this training, Squire. Yes, you will probably never do this ever again, but someone will have to do it. Someone will have to clean your horses for you, so that you can sit around and lounge around lazily. Someone will have to feed them, so they have the strength to carry you on their backs. Do you even notice that there are people, real people, doing all these for you? Just like what I thought. Then this is the perfect training for you. I'll be back in a while. Don't stop picking up those nice squishy balls of dung. So when Lord Elaine mentioned about duty, he meant shoveling shit out of the stable. Master-at-Arms did have some point there, though. I know, but still. I guess it's just not the kind of training I imagined it'd be. Thou and I both, Renard. This kind of lowly task is truly beneath nobility. Please don't bite me. Don't worry, Cammile. She's quite sweet, see? See, you can pat her like this. She won't bite you if you're nice to her. I see. I'm not quite used to all this, tasks. As with me, and I would imagine none of us is. Yet it seems Lucien and Isaac are unmoved by this horrible stench. How can you stand it? Well, it's a bit different for me. I've been in the Leroux cavalry since I was 14. I'm used to horses now. 14? I would imagine thou need some training before being accepted into the ranks. Was it because thou were a Leroux that this cavalry allowed thee in such a youth? Of course not. The Leroux holds their banner with pride, and even I have to earn my place there. That's why my lord uncle started teaching me to fight ever since I could handle a weapon. Back then, I was 7, if I recall correctly. 7? Dear Deus. Isn't it rare for a girl to train so early? Maybe. I've been watching Lord Uncle since I was little, though, so it wasn't that odd for me. I guess if it's the Ravager that teaches you, it's to be expected. Wait, what? You were trained by the Ravager himself? He's my uncle. There's nothing weird about being taught by your uncle. Yes, but not everyone has the privilege of being the pupil of the legendary Lord Severin. Lee is a little lost. Who is this person you're talking about? Lord Severin Leroux, also named the Ravager, perhaps the greatest swordsman alive in the realm. Legend has that he's won 100 wars and has never been defeated in battle. And I think they actually mean like 100 battles, because 100 wars are kind of big enough to not go unnoticed, I'd hope. Maybe the place really is that twisted, we don't know. I think I've heard about him battling the Fey forces as well. Do the elves never talk of him? No, not really. We don't speak about humans that much in general. Lee used to think that you were enigmatic creatures roaming the world outside the forests. If anyone's enigmatic, that would be the elves, Elian. Anyway, I want to personally see what someone trained by the Ravager can do. Is that a challenge to the foray? Hey, stop fighting and finish your work, squires. If you don't work faster, I'll make you clean the chamber pots as well. Finished at last. Now, can we you take a bath, O Master at Arms? A bath? Far from it. Your task for the day is merely halfway done. You see this entire carriage full of dung? You have to deliver it to Mudtown, west of the city. Mudtown? Is a town made of mud? No, not really. So why is it called Mudtown? Because there's a river and it's muddy? I don't know, kid, it's just a name. So why are we taking this dung pile there? Do they need it for something? For fertilizers. Gotta send them fresh so the village can grow us good vegetables. What's that I hear? Did you chuckle at me, boy? Another timid squire, I see. Not even brave enough to admit what he did. Is this how you want to live your knightly life, Isaac? Hiding when you're confronted? Is that wussy kind of life the one you're aiming for? If not, then tell it to my face. Manure isn't used fresh, Master at Arms. They have to compost it for weeks. They have to compost for weeks before they can be used. If you use it straight from the horse, it won't be vegetables that grow but weed, and I think they mean weeds. But then again, we don't really know what type of plants they're growing there, so maybe that is correct. Really? Yes, fresh dung contains too much water. And contains, I think that's supposed to be. And it's easy for weed to grow there. Once again, we have the mistake. If let to compost, the dung will dry up, which makes it easier for vegetables to grow. That's surprisingly insightful, Isaac. There, not so hard, isn't it, Squire? Now, instead of being known as meek, others will think you're knowledgeable. You do seem to have the know-hows about agriculture. Do plainsmen do these a lot? Not that much. I just learned about it. Now listen up, squires. This is a very important lesson. More often than not, traveling is a dangerous task. Everywhere, roads are infested with wild animals and criminals alike. To mitigate these dangers, you should split into parties of 3 and prepare for encounters. A party of 3 can work well together. More than that, and a fight turns cluttered and chaotic. Also, while the 3 stand in the front lines, the others can handle other tasks, such as guarding the cart. I would prefer to take the vanguard than be in the proximity of this horrendous stench. So am I. Let me go ahead and have a swing at my axe. You know, it'll take a while to have all of you fight over who does what. So here's how it'll go. Arya, pick 2 to go with you and range ahead. The rest will stay with the cart and depart a few minutes after you. At last, some respite from this torturous air. You can switch active party members to the reserve anytime out of combat. To do it, access the menu. The party leader cannot be sent into reserve, must always remain in the active party, and I believe the leader is who we choose from the prologue, in our case, Arya. Do you understand what I'm saying, squires? Yes, I do. Good. Now go and return before sunset. Be careful of wild mongrels out there. The mountain roads can be treacherous. So, since I already played, I know the optimal party here is swapping out Lucien for Bernard. You want Cammile because she does true damage against the enemy. The skill in question is Sharp and Bold. This will come in handy against the boss, as you see in a moment. And I wanted to see... Reed can also be a little bit helpful because he has a defense debuff. The enemy has a defense buff. And not to mention Toxic Touch. You can inflict poison to kind of just damage the enemy over time. So Reed himself is not a bad pick. As for Lucien, these skills will not come in handy. And finally for Ilian, we are going to be dealing with a group of enemies at first, but it's one strong boss with 2 minions, so the volley has its limited uses. And for regeneration, it costs 2 SP, I don't know. I'd rather use the 3 right here. Bernard for hitting, Cammile for piercing defense, and Arya for healing. And I'll explain more about the equipment system once we get into the mountain roads. To actually move forward, they said you had to go west of town, but the exit is actually on the right side. So if north is actually at the bottom of the screen and the castle is actually to the south, then that actually would make sense. It's just... when they said west, I pretty much combed this entire screen looking for some way to move forward. And the way to go is actually over here. So you can talk to the people. There isn't really anything to do. You don't have any money to buy anything. There is one townsperson that actually has like character art. I'll probably not even show him in this video because I don't care. As for the enemies here, they are boars, pig-type enemies. We'll be meeting a story right there on our way back. And I'm going to try to not get in any fights. Wow, that was close. So we have an item to pick up here. It's a crafting material or something. It's Grab it. Raw meat. So I don't know if there's a cooking system like in the Tales games where you can actually use that to heal and stuff, but we have raw meat, that's the important thing. As for right here, we have Coat of Vitality. This is an armor for Cammile. It makes her a lot less squishy for the upcoming boss. She goes from 5 defense to 15 and gets an additional 100 HP. So this will stop the boss from two-shotting her. And right here is the village. And one thing I should actually explain is, while I am running past the enemies, as of now you do get EXP from the fights, so if you want to grind you can. It's just, for one reason or another, if it's early game or depending on the difficulty setting the devs have in mind, you don't need to at the moment. So as a result I can just do a streamlined video. Lucky me. There it is, the car from Levantine has arrived. Greetings, villagers. We are here to deliver the contents of this cart on behalf of Lord Elaine. Look at that, such a big pile. Indeed, and the stench is sickening. Is it really? It somewhat is, but at least there were beasts to fight. I thought it was going to be a boring trip, but that was kind of fun, I'd say. Why are you happy to hurt animals, Renard? Do humans find it fun? Of course, the heat of combat, the feeling of your weapon hitting a foe, it's exhilarating. Lee doesn't understand. Don't worry, Lee, me neither. The cart is yours now. Please take care of it. We will, Dame. Please inform Lord Levant that we are truly grateful for this. Never has I seen someone so happy over dung. In the castle, the heap is nothing but filth, but here they have their uses. Turning filth into something useful. Lord Elaine does know what his people need. Lee thinks it's very clever. She will tell her mother about this one day. Is this how a wise man rule? And that's supposed to be rules. Duty to the people, huh? At any rate, we should return. The sun will set soon. Right now, does thy endurance know no bound, Lucian? I would assume that it does not. Why don't we take a look around for a bit before walking back? Seeing how the commoners are doing is part of a noble's duty too, right? That's a good idea, really. Very well, let's take a rest for a while before going back. So the sparkling here is going to key you in on an item. This is Age Necklace. It gives you additional HP, and we can enter houses here, but from my previous attempt to search them, I didn't find anything that was worthwhile. Lee likes this village. It's so peaceful, so different than the city and the castle. Before I continue, I should explain I will be talking to the villagers on my way out, so don't worry if you're panicking. Why isn't he talking to them? It's on my to-do list. The village reminds Lee of her home. Do many humans live like this? Unfortunately, Mudtown is an exception. Since it's only reachable from Levantine, the village has always been safe from outlaws. Not many can say the same. Indeed, prosperous villages are rare out there, and if there are any, they often become ripe targets for bandits and marauders. The realm is a dangerous place, Yulian. It's not always like this. Sometimes people are so poor they have no choice but to fall into banditry. We can't blame the outlaws if living honest lives isn't enough to feed them. And they still get taxed on top of that. Wouldn't you be angry if you were in their shoes? Isaac, there is no need to import ourselves of it. Lowborns are created to serve nobles, who in turn guide and protect them. 'Tis how the deist wrote the world, and 'tis how it should be. If they cannot pay taxes, they can soldier or serve the realm in another way. Never is there an excuse to turn against your own people. It simply cannot be justified. Hey, I agree with that. Soldiering is much more exciting than a peaceful life anyway. Seriously, don't people get bored here? There's no fights, no dangers. I'd die in a week. Hey, boy, yes, you there. Yes, you boy, come over here. Yes, sir, did you call for me? Are there any giant beasts around here we can hunt? Any renegades we can squash? No, my lord, there's nothing like them around here. See, it's so boring. Don't you agree with me, kid? A bit. Are there always giant beasts and renegades outside, my lord? I always wanted to leave this village and travel, but I don't know what's out there. You should be thankful to have good crops every year and not starve. You're already better off than most people in the realm. Why would you want to leave? It's my father, sir. I want to look for him. Are you sure? It's a dangerous world out there. A boy wouldn't survive. Well then, I have to train until I can defend myself, don't I? Look at this brave young lad. More villagers should learn from you. What's your name, kid? Cameron, sir. And I don't know if that's actually intentional, or if it's supposed to be Cameron with the E in the middle. I don't know. Cameron, I'll remember you, boy, especially since you have your own artwork. Good luck finding your father. If we ever meet again, tell me what you've seen in your travels. Now go back to what you were doing. The crops won't farm themselves, you know. Will do, sir. Thank you. You shouldn't have encouraged him, Renard. He's but a kid. The girl who started wielding weapon at 7 wants to lecture me about this. I don't know if that's weapons or a weapon, but one of those two needs to be put in there. It's getting late. We should get going. Master-at-Arms must be waiting for us. Okay, there is a piece of loot at the top of this... No, it's right there. So I'm going to talk to this guy. Thank you for delivering the dungs, masters and mistresses. And that's all he has to say. Now this is a healing item, I believe. Yeah, tiny white crystal. So a bit of a clue about the upcoming boss, I guess. A mixture of rosemary and white wine can help make your face prettier. The scent is for everyone, but who cares if you can get men to notice you? Most noble ladies marry later than villagers do. Sometimes, even in their 20s. There's no pressure for money, I guess, or maybe just too busy attending balls. And speaking of attending things, I guess this is the medieval equivalent of the water cooler. Cameron, how goes things? Thank you for the encouragement, masters and misses. Now, if only those wild boars out there would stay away from the road, maybe you can try going out. There's your clue about the boss waiting for us. Ah, there was an item up here. We have to loop around to get it. Main. Yeah, it's a crafting material, that's why I didn't really remember it. And here we have a store. Well, town is small, but it's got fresh local goods, second to none. So I think these might be like crafting materials. There's like a blacksmith shop in town that we might be able to use. I don't know if it's actually been implemented, but it's possibly something that we'll find in the final game. And if you notice, we still have no money, and their money is called livre. I'm trying to remember if that's the French word for book, which is, I don't know if that was intentional or supposed to be a little symbolic or what. And I have to equip the necklace. I'll explain a couple things once I do that. I'm going to be tossing that in Aria, if you're wondering. The river's currents used to be so strong that there were no fishes around here. But since Lord Levant built the watermill, not only are there fishes, we often get big catches, too. Town very rarely get any sunshine, so there's not much choice of crops. And they need to change get there. The realm is cloudy all year long, and the great white serpent blocks all hopes for some morning light. Don't know what the great white serpent is, but that may be something for another time. So I'm going to pop on this aged necklace. You can see that gives additional 40 HP. At first I couldn't tell what that number was, if that was a 4 or a 1. It's not very clear, but it's a 4. And if you're wondering, we have, I'll explain this, we have our weapon slot, our armor slot, we can fit 2 accessories. As for the default skin, this is kind of like a Tales game where there are alternate costumes for your characters that actually change their on-screen appearance. I think it also changes their battle sprite too. And as for how you get these, I don't know how many there are available. I know that there are some that were sold through the Kickstarter, so there's some that will be acquired that way. I just don't know if those are the only ones. Because there's supposed to be one that makes Reed look like an Assassin's Creed character, I think. One that makes Lucian look like a Valkyrie and stuff like that. But otherwise, that's it for everyone right now. We can drop a save and go fight the boss. So there was a bit of skipping, but everything's okay. This isn't where I ran into the problem. What's wrong, Cammile? You look like there's something on your mind. Oh, it's just nothing important, really. I kept thinking about what the kid Cameron said back there. About going out of that peaceful town of his? He said something about wild beasts on these paths, didn't he? Must be these weakling boars we cut through. It's an easy job for us, but deadly for a little kid. Maybe you're right. I'm just afraid there might be that. What was that? Something's coming our way. Get ready. Okay, I'm going to actually shoot this turn. I'm going to try to thin out the enemy numbers to get damage under control that way. You can see that the boar hits for 41 damage. Before, Cammile had 111 hit points. That would basically be like a third of her health. And she also had lower defense, so it probably actually would have been half. And you can see Arya is much tankier. And Renard, he's pretty solid. And I just noticed that one has a defensive stance up. Okay, now I can kill it. Now the middle one just used Hardened Hide. I'll explain how to bypass that once we get back to Camille's turn. So Cammile has a skill called Sharpened Bolt. If you read the description, deal pure damage to target enemy with a good chance to inflict bleed for 3 turns. By pure damage, they basically mean like true damage, as in how it works in League of Legends, how you bypass all defenses. So even though it just used that Toughen Hide, we have just pierced that. So 100-something damage, and we inflicted the bleed status effect, as you can see by the little red hemorrhaging right here, as well as the marker on the icon in the top left corner. I was using the mouse to point those out if you were wondering what that was. And right there I got a critical hit. Another crit. I'm going to use Sharpened Bolt for true damage because, let's face it, ooh, 3 crits in a row, wow. Just to play it safe, I'm going to use Heal on Cammile. Basically to show off the skill as well as just to play it safe. See, 15 damage. But the Sharpened Bolt can still pierce. He defended. I don't have anything else to do this turn, so stabby stabby, and down he goes. That's pretty much why I picked Cammile for this. So Cammile unlocked Projectile Study, Lucian got Defensive Stance, Renard got Tempered in Combat. We got a Worn Out Gauntlet, a Tiny White Crystal, 2 Raw Meat, 4 Mains. How did we fail to notice such a beast the first time we passed here? Never mind that, look at that heap of succulent, juicy meat. Are you going to kill it, Renard? Of course I am. This catch can feed the whole castle for a day. But it attacked because it felt threatened. We were trespassing her territory. I wonder if that's supposed to be in her territory, but I'm not totally sure if that's supposed to be how Elian speaks. Can't we just let her go? We can let her go now, but what if she attacks villagers some other day? We have weapons and armor, but those commoners, their lives are at stake here. And oh, there are lives at stake here. I was thinking that was supposed to be the possessive. Their lives are at stake, but they have the R there, so that's actually fine. It must be confusing for humans, not being able to commune with animals. In a non-Toure, or a non-Toure, I'm not sure, I'll think of a way to pronounce that, hopefully consistently in another video. The forests are safe because its beasts are protecting us. Unfortunately so, Yilian, the human world is different from yours. It might take a while for you to get used to it. Lee's not sure she ever wants to get used to this. Fine, let's leave this beast here and let nature decide its life or death. It attacked us, we defended ourselves, done. Now let's get back to Jacques. Just an agreeable notion, let us make haste. I find the prospect of having to drag a carcass back to the castle terribly appalling. I hope you'll be alright, Miss Piggy. And the boar is gone now, so we actually don't have to make a moral choice or anything like that. I don't know if that will change in the final product, but for now, the pig lives. Or at least has a chance of living. So right here we'll meet a story from the castle. I didn't show him off, I think, but he was in one of the rooms. You could have seen his sprite as I was walking around. Squires, what brings you to these parts? Just killing some beasts. Good pastime to train your muscles. We were tasked to deliver a cart to Mudtown. We're on our way back to Levantine. What are you doing here with those plants, mister? Me, I'm collecting white rocks, you see. They're the main ingredient to craft crystals. Crystals? Oh, elves don't use crystals, do they? Here, let me show you one. He's going to give us a few, and he'll explain how the limited revive system works. Crystals can store magical energy. They're common in the Old North as restorative items. They're pretty. Since they just store energy, they give different effects depending on what is stored in it. Usually its color will tell you what it does. It is true indeed, blessings of the dais are white, as fitting for his divine gifts. Well, its white isn't because of holiness, I'm afraid. All energies which restore health are shown as white, even if it comes from other sources. But What other sources could there be, Sir, a story? Just none of the arcane, thou art implying, is it? We all know such powers are not to be touched. It will corrupt us. Relax, Miss Arya. I won't question the words of the law, which kinda needs some fixing. Anyway, remember that all white crystals recover a bit of your health. Blue ones fill your stamina, and green ones whisk away negative effects. What about saving the dying? I heard the white ones can't do it. For that, Master Isaac, you need the red ones. They're by far the most potent crystals, powerful enough to heal grave wounds. Lee never knew. Where does she get these crystals? 'Tis the task of gifted followers of the dais to channel divine energies into crystals. Nobles in need can get them from any church for a small fee in exchange. However, as red crystals are very rare, nobles only entitled to one at a time. Crystals are a staple for knights and squires. Don't ever leave without them. Since the road may get dangerous, why don't you take some of my crystals? So we got 3 red, 5 white. And if you didn't get the gist of what they were saying, you can only have 1 red crystal for each character in your party, a max of 6. So that means between trips to the church, you can only revive 6 characters at most. That means it's kind of important to make sure no one goes down, and I don't believe there's any sort of revive spell in this game. Everything that heals has to be used on someone who's still conscious, alive, or whatever you should think of it as. You can get more at the church, but these should do for the moment. So many colorful crystals. Thank you, mister. My pleasure, little elf. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some rocks to find. It's getting dark soon. We should keep heading back. And right here is where I ran into the bug. So I don't know what's actually beyond this point, but I wanted to take a look at the worn out gauntlet. Power +1, we'll toss that on Renard for now. Because he doesn't hit hard enough, let's face it. And you know what, I'm going to drop a save right here, just to play it safe. I wonder if there are so many save points scattered around town because the devs know of the bugs. And we just have to go back the way we came. I'm not going to talk to the villager with the unique artwork yet. Maybe in the next video, it depends on what task I'm given, but this will do for now. And as long as I don't run into that bug, progress can continue, otherwise we may hit a bit of a break here. Okay, here it is, bug time. Last time the screen just blacked out. So far so good. Welcome back, squires. How was your trip? Not the most pleasant. There was a huge boar on the road and it attacked us. We defeated her, but then we felt bad for hurting the boar, so we let it go. Well, at least everyone looks to be in good health. That's something to celebrate. Dinner will be served in the Great Hall soon. Lord Levant and Lady Sophia will also be there. Finally, I'm so hungry I can eat a whole boar myself. A whole boar? Fighting that boar reminds me of its sweet, juicy, succulent meat. We shouldn't be late for the table, then. Before you go, however, take a bath and make yourselves presentable, squires. You smell terrible. Level up. Arya got Caregiver, Isaac got Swift Steps, Julian got Offspring of the Tree. So I don't know what any of the new moves do. No bug, no bug, no bug. Bug. So, last time I clicked close, nothing happened. Let's try clear. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be where this video ends for now, and if I can find a way around the bug, part 3 will be coming out, but otherwise we may have hit a brick wall right here, right now. So, until I can find a way around this, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.